Good morning, guys. Today is FOMC day, and the idea is that I think it's going to be a nothing burger, but it still poses a massive question that I'm trying to answer myself. Is this short going to pay, or is this short going to take some money? And I want to look at that today with you guys real quick, and then look at a couple of altcoins on the macro time frame, on the weekly, daily time frame. Give it a yay or nay kind of thing. So if you're interested to have a yay or nay thrown in at a coin, that might be something that you're holding. In the comments now, let it run. It's scrolling on the screen now, a new feature. So let's see how that works. Maybe what we need to do is remove my name there at the bottom, Peter. That might make that work a little bit better. So Peter's going to work the magic in the background. I'm going to do a quick BTC talk. And while that then happens, you're going to be sending me some coins, and then we're going to go through them together. Sounds good? You know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and join the Discord as well while you're at it. As a quick reminder, guys, video is brought to you compliments from Bybit. So if you open your Bybit account using my partner link, something went wrong now, horrendously wrong. I'll fix it, Peter. Open your Bybit account using my partner link. It will actually give you access to, which is completely free, the spot trade group in the Discord. The group stats as of last week was that we made 30% on the calls for the last 2 weeks. So we made $1,000 off $2,000 just trading spot. Okay, that's not a bad deal. And currently we're sitting in with a little bit more than that. We're sitting with, let's remove this. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Peter. With down 1,259. We took a couple of leverage trades as well. So you can follow those trades along in the Discord. All scores have been will be kept there, so you can see that. And it's very simple to use because you just click on it and there's the setups. Okay, there you have it. Right, guys. Bitcoin. Let's cut the music. Let's get serious with the anticipation movement music. Anticipation movement music. Okay, there. Anticipation moving's done. Okay, what's your thoughts on the CME gap? Let's quickly hear what you guys are thinking. I'm going to head over to the comments before we're going to talk Bitcoin. This is a live stream, guys, so everybody joining in live, thanks so much. There's about 52 people joining in live. Morning from KwaZulu-Natal. Not holding, but trading. What do you think Solana is doing? Okay, so Solana, guys, I'm probably not going to say something you're going to like, but okay. And then Aave, Renee Aave. Okay, we're going to look at Aave for you. And that's it. So Bitcoin, the CME gap. Now, what did I say at the beginning of the week? CME gap statistically narrows down the probability for price being at a specific point. That's all that it does. Now, it means that if you're wanting to get in on a long play, the argument for that would have been within the CME gap, because statistically, that would be a good area for the bounce. We also know that statistically, all CME gaps, or most CME gaps, get filled eventually. So that's 98% of them. There's a CME gap that everybody is referring to sitting down there at $3,000 for BTC. Come on, that's so far down there. Okay. I would expect that to get filled. Okay? So there is situations where this happens. And when you do have the CME gaps created, it tells you sometimes that you can be patient, wait for the trade to come back to you, and so forth. So there is a high expectation for that. So the trader in me, the scalp trader in me, says Bitcoin went to the CME gap. It's bouncing, and there is the potential that this thing can push up to 118. Now, Bitcoin's short still good. I'm going to be bearish until we reclaim $115,000 as a price point. We've gone there twice now, and we've rejected there twice now. So how would this look? I would want to see candles open and close above it. Then I will switch and say, okay, right, maybe there's more to this move, and maybe there's an all-time high in play. Now, if we get a bull trap, meaning the market push up and then sells off, this area below 121, this is where the massive inefficiency occurred. That area below that, anywhere in this zone, you would still hunt for short, but I will be hunting that with longs in place, meaning I would use this area to hedge myself in both directions. Okay. Tougher, harder to do. Yes, true. If you're just trading on spot, it means that you would bet there to go long, buy Bitcoin back, because the invalidation is cheap. Because if we lose 115 again, all that we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a lower low, because believe you me, and I know that it is not something people want to hear, the reality is Bitcoin is trending bearish at the moment. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay. So the CME gap is giving you a really good area for that. Now, Ethereum, same story. The bigger problem that I have with Ethereum then is that I am looking at this level, and the area where support needs to live is between 3,600, 3,800. Okay. And we can actually just change that label to being support. This is the area that needs to hold. So the bullish play for Ethereum would be to say that it needs to stay above 3,900, thereabout, hold $4,000 as support. And then the short-term outlook then would say that it's going to push up to at least 440, 4,400. Okay. And that would be your first area of resistance. So yet again, just like Bitcoin, as Bitcoin reclaims 115, Ethereum will stay above 4,000. And when Bitcoin reclaims 115, the first area of resistance lives between 118 and 121. Ethereum's level for that lives between 4,400, which means you would see this. And then on that pullback, that would be the area for me to enter. So the short is still good. The invalidation of the short needs to happen first before I can enter the swing long. And in that area, just to guard against the bull trap, I would still consider this as a bear market area to short 4,400, saying that might be the shakeout short that takes this whole thing down. Now, bear market talks, the tricky thing with this is, as always, guys, is that when you look at Bitcoin through its cycles, and this time it's different. I've heard that story, all the other cycles as well. Greed hasn't changed. Your emotion hasn't changed, and your demand to outbid somebody else on a low hasn't changed. Therefore, it's hard to argue the fact that this time it's different. Institutions are trying to beat other institutions. One hedge fund's trying to perform better than another hedge fund. It's not a safe, nice space up at the top. These guys are cutthroating each other just like you're trying to make it better, because everybody wants to be the one making the money. Everybody's trying to outbid each other. So for that reason, statistically, we're into the area where the top is about to form. So I have to stick to my system, irrespective of how the comments are and irrespective of feelings. And I know, friends on the channel, I hope you don't lose money. I have to stick to my trade. I don't have any other possibility. When the time turns and when the time comes and the trend turns again, I don't care whether I was wrong. I will then have in place enough to make money either way. Hence the fact that we're holding longs from 105, 107. Patiently waiting to see what the market is doing. Okay, so now you've got a good idea of the macro view. You've got a good idea of Bitcoin, the trend. You've got the CME scenario. You've got the critical areas of support. The last chart that I want to show you is the point and figure chart, and that's just to give you these zones. It's a destination map where potentially this current little push that we're seeing in Bitcoin right now, where it can go to for the sell. So if you look at this now from Bitcoin on the point and figure, there's the little gap there, living between 114, 600 and 114. That would be my swing sell zone. Why do I have a sell zone there? And then I have another setup that tells you you're supposed to be in the short already. Good question you should have asked, or possibly could have asked. The reason for this is very simple, guys. Shorting from 111 to 117 doesn't give you a lot of room for leverage. It's a 4% price bracket there. So if you do that on a 10x, you're down 40%. You cannot sustain that type of trading. So when we're in the sell zone, I use this as my narrative for being bearish. That's all. And then I dive into whatever structure the market gives me at that stage to then look for tighter entries. Now, the rule with point and figure charts, this is the part that I doubt that very few people know. When you have a line drawn on the chart, the trend line like people would normally revert to, you draw that line at a 45 angle. Let me just get that as close as I can get. 45-degree angle. And that would be your bullish or your bearish trend. Okay, so let's draw that line out as, there we go, oops, resistance line. As long as on the point and figure, price stays within that angle, that speed, and remember, this doesn't factor in time, the speed of the price difference, the volatility. As long as it stays within that range, the argument is now that we're establishing a bearish trend. I can move this back to other levels so you can see what I mean by that. As long as that 45-degree angle is respected, you can and have the right to remain bearish. Now, guys, TA is a bitch because then stuff like this happens. You know, you're going to have to be organic about it. You're going to have to give it a little bit of wiggle room because it's not always going to perform exactly as you want it to be. But there you have the gist. So as long as it stays within that 45, you think bearish. The same then is true for the bullish side of things. So if I draw the same line, and this is now for the bulls, saying, well, you're going to lose your money. Okay, great. If that is the case, let's draw a line, give it a 45-degree. Nearest makes no difference. There, we basically got it. Okay. Let's make that a support line. Now we're looking at the bullish side of things. What happened in the areas where we know we were exceptionally bullish? Just going to scroll over to that line. Price adhered to the 45-degree line. Let's extend that. I'm just going to use a line that extends. I'm just going to use that line. As soon as we start falling below it, trend is broken. Simple as that. So you keep an eye on the 45-degree angle. As soon as we fall below it, trend is broken. So for that reason, where we're at right now, let's zoom to where we are right now. What do we have? We don't have price trying to listen to any 45 degrees on the volatility scale of things. There was the break already. So it is pointing to a little bit more downside in that way. Okay. Now I've got a guest here in the back of the screen. You're more than welcome to share your chart if you want to so long. I think Peter will set everything up there. It's Mr. Wizard of Alt, and or as we call him, Heavy Metal Man, because he's the gold trader and the palladium, the metals is what he wants. So I'm going to bring him up. Let's do that and make sure he's added to the stage. There we go. Hello. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I don't know. I don't know how I am at the moment. Trading wise, I want the market to dump.
Yeah.
So from a short trader point of view, I definitely want this thing to sell off. But the alt side of me, I want to give hope. I want to have the market move. But yeah, it's a tough one right now. So I don't know how you do. Tell me what you do.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I closed my shorts out. They hit full profit yesterday. And I put in some long orders that didn't hit. So I'm sort of in that middle where I want it to come down and sort of cap some of my orders. Yeah, I mean, altcoins are an interesting bag. I know I looked through my watch list today, and everything is very red, apart from a couple that I was quite interested in. Obviously, our friend Mr. Wolf and his deep in. I think we're seeing a bit of a deep in narrative because both of his big plays are up double digits today, whilst everything else is red, which is interesting. Obviously, it comes off the back of. So from a thematic week, we obviously had the NVIDIA conference yesterday, where robotics was quite a big topic. And so there was quite a lot of robotic stocks that were doing well. And I think some of the deep ins in that space are riding on the coattails a little bit.
Correct.
Whether they could sustain the pump, I don't get a feeling that any alts can sustain any sort of green. It just feels like it's a bit like a whack-a-mole. You see a random bit of green and it'll just get hammered back down. But yeah, I mean, on the metal front, yeah.
It's one-hit wonder kind of territory. We'll move to the metals now. One-hit wonder kind of territory, because here was a one hit, and then it's over.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them. So you have to be you have to have your wits about it. You can't just buy these holds and sit back.
Yeah, there's no buy and hold anymore. I think that's one thing I think with the altcoin market that I think, and to be honest, I think in terms of crypto, I think there's obviously been some value in buying and holding Bitcoin. I think we've seen more of a move towards the people who are actively trading being better rewarded. If you can go up and trade the levels, I think in this cycle you've been more actively rewarded. Certainly with Bitcoin, you've had the opportunity to long and short quite substantial swing movements, even at the top end of the range.
Let's bring up the Bitcoin chart. Bring up your chart as well while you're at it, if you can.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to head over to the comments while you do that, and we can continue that train of thought. So Mr. Blue, what's it? Blue Durham Master 8062 Durham Master. Durham Star. It is what it is. Sorry, buddy. But in any case, this is a green, no point holding, just trading. At this stage, especially when you're in the gray area, you just trade the chop, enjoy the chop, for what it is. The trend will emerge. There will be a trend emerging, be it up or down. And then trading does become easier. And if it's up, you can make money on the spot. And if it's down, you sit on your hands, because that's the trade. The USDT is a trade, Katerina, good morning to you. Yes. Watching live in a long time. It's been forever since we had you on these lives. Thanks so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. She is one of the OG followers of this channel when we had like 5 subscribers. And I think Peter actually was subscriber number 1. Is that correct, Peter? Or were you subscriber number 2? He's waving he says 1. Okay. So subscriber number 1. Okay, there we go. Okay, you've got your chart. Let me just quickly switch over to your side. Things might disappear. Let me just do this. Add to stage. There we go. There we go. We've got your charts now.
Here we are. Yeah, so this is
the black and white color scheme, though.
Yeah, this is my so I have different chart setups. I quite like my my dark ones for crypto and stocks, but I find if I'm scalping, like the lighter, this feels like a cleaner canvas. I don't know if you have the same, but I annotate so much on my charts. If I want to just trade off a clean chart, I end up it's quite difficult to find one.
I tend to use the multiple screens for that reason. So I can scratch, and then when it comes time to physically trade, that's why mine looks like this. When it comes time to physically trade, I'll go to this one and then say, okay, right, here's now I'm in the moment. I know what I want to look at, but that's the way I go about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so gold. Quite good. I know we were chatting about this potentially finding a bottom. And I think we caught the bottom on it quite well, certainly. So I didn't catch the bang on bottom, but I had some quite nice entries here. And I think this is a really interesting place for it to wick down to, because we've essentially just closed that 4-hour fair value gap. bang on to the dollar. So that's a really interesting level that we bounced off what was previously resistance and then acted as support for this candle. Come down, wick in, and then we're moving back up. I think the narrative for gold is coming back, certainly with the rate cuts. I'm still always of the persuasion. I think the thing is rate cuts aren't bullish from a macro point of view, because if you're cutting rates, something's wrong. And we're seeing that something is wrong given the fact that the US labor market is fairly dire, which is why they're cutting rates into an inflating economy. So inherently, that's not bullish from a macro point of view.
Remember, the whole idea for the rate cuts was to get inflation down to 2%. Now it's at 3%. Now 3% is okay. It's a lesser of two evils. There's always going to be a balancing between unemployment and inflation. And at this stage, it's the lesser of two evils, so they're going to continue on that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we'll see some more push on this. I mean, this chart is pretty... it's pretty amazing, just the size of some of these candles for an asset this big. And just the way it moves. I think potentially we're seeing a retest of this area here, this liquidity zone.
So
I don't know if we...
As a short trader, would you short 4,000? Because I mean, it is an auction number. It is there. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. It feels a little bit no man's land from a TA point of view.
I'd probably want to go just above. So if I was doing it, I'd probably be aiming for maybe around here. Because I think for me, the 4,000 scares me a little bit, because I think once we move, you either reject from here or you push through here and sweep up here before going down. But this feels like somebody's walking this up. This is institutional buying. I think
it does actually. If you think about it, if you look at the point and figure, I'll quickly bring that up for you. The gold point. Oh, this is ETH. Sorry, ETH. Let's look at gold. Why do I have two ETHs? Okay, let's close one and load the gold. Sorry, guys. I might not have a point there. Let's go back to your chart. First, I'll quickly load it and then continue for let's see. I might not have a point. The gold ETH $4,000, you know? It's easy to screw them up, okay?
Yeah. This feels like institutional buying. To me, anyway. It does look really nice in the 1 hour, though.
So the interesting thing with gold, though, it's still an interesting chart to have a look at that. So let me just bring that up. I said earlier the 45-degree angle lines, they're critical to holding a trend. And where we're at right now, it's being stepped up there. So 4,000 is as good as it could be. Now, as soon as we break through, there's a little bit of a gap there. So 4,000, maybe 4,050 thereabout could be a nice swing sell zone. And then the alternative is if it wants to sweep, it goes back to 170 thereabout before it breaks back down. So it's still trending bearish. And at this stage, it looks bullish in a bearish trend, which is potentially a good area to short. So although I was saying I think it's no man's land, I maybe need to recant that because wait for the setup to occur. Perhaps you can use the buddy indicator probably if you're still trying to find your feet. Let me just quickly do this. I just need to update this again. When you preset this the indicators, TradingView doesn't update the stuff when the script gets updated. So it's always a frustrating thing. So the buddy indicator is still blue. It's still saying it's bullish, bullish, bullish. So wait for that maybe, to start turning. Let's check the 8-minute. All blue still. So you trade the bullish setups. And so maybe just wait a little bit. That push to 150 probably could be the turning point there. You can use the buddy indicator for that, guys. It's very simple to use. Okay.
Yeah. I think there's good opportunity depending on what time frame you trade it. So so certainly on the hourly, the thing that sticks out to me here is you're probably going to get a little bit of a pullback from this zone here. As you can see, it's quite a liquid zone. That wick, that wick, that wick, that wick.
It's been a lot of visits there. You're definitely correct. And the rule that I've picked up over the years, when I have a good buy zone marked out and it fails, it turns into a great sell zone.
Yeah.
That's that SR flip. That support turns to resistance. So where we're at right now, you know, a week ago we were screaming buy 4,000. Now 4,000 all of a sudden doesn't look that good anymore for that same reason. And that could potentially then add fuel to that reason for the sell-off. So FOMC, bullish. Everything, rate cuts, bullish. What does the market do? Everybody's buying. Your job as a trader is to trade what everybody else is trading, not to trade what the news is telling you, because that's what everybody else is doing. So if everybody else is seeing this as a bullish signal and they're buying in on this, might be the case that the institutions are doing the other side of it first.
Yeah. Yeah. And this will take out both. If you're trying to trade this in FOMC, this will take out both sides of the trade before doing any sort of move.
Late shorts will get squeezed, and because they didn't short at 4,100, you know, they went after the fact. So those would be critical areas. Just give me 1 sec. I've got somebody coming to me. I just want to make sure. There we go. My wife is sorting that out, so we can continue on. Okay. Okay. Let's move on from gold. Let's move on from gold. We had a question on Solana while we're at that. I'm going to share my Sol chart. Gives you a moment to quickly get your Sol chart loaded, and then we'll take it from there. I said to the guys earlier, and I don't want to spoil anything. Solana doesn't quite look where it's at, and hopefully I can try and paint a pretty picture for you guys. But the reality with Solana for me is the following. So I'm loading my Sol chart. There we go, 4-hour time frame. Maybe let's go a little bit higher, because we need to make sure that we don't screw this up. This is Solana now on the weekly time frame. Went there once, previous bull market. It went there twice. It went there for the third time. So triple top. Now this stage, Wizard, your eyes need to switch silver, probably, because this does look a lot like the silver chart on the monthly time frame. And I know you guys want to be bullish on this, but I mean, triple tops is a bullish signal if you get above it, and it's a bearish signal if you stay below it. You know, it is what it is. I don't make the rules, it's just to play. And as long as Solana is fighting $250 as expensive, until that changes, I don't know what the fundamental news needs to be to change that narrative. That's truly the case for me. I don't know what do you think?
I think Solana is an interesting one. I think that it's one that it's fun to trade, but from a chart perspective, it's really difficult to read, because whilst we've got that triple top, it's so inflationary that it's not an adequate reflection, if that makes sense.
Probably true. You're right if you look at it from that point, but gold and silver is also inflationary.
Yeah, that's very true. But the market cap of Sol is really weird, because I think I might have mentioned this before, but you've got those triple tops, but if you look at it from a market cap perspective, it's so far away. Like that. That's where we currently. That's a different
look. Okay, so now we literally screwed you over. I'm sorry, but keen to short. Now, if you look at it from this point of view, thanks for messing up the analysis, because now what do you do?
Yeah, because this looks bullish. If you look at it from a market cap perspective, it looks quite bullish. Like you're forming higher lows, not quite a higher high, but
bring up an RSI real quick.
Yeah.
Now, this is the key here. That RSI high between July and 2025 there on your chart. So go to the right-hand side. A little bit more. That point there, that high point, just a little bit more to the left. No, the second highest one. That one, yes. Put a line up there, vertical. On that. No, not the one to left of it. That one, yeah. Now that's 120 billion market cap at that stage. Now zoom into that top real quick. Now what you can do is you can put a horizontal line at that closing price at 120. Just do that real quick and then show all the remaining candles. Give me a view of all the remaining candles. And I'll do the exact same on that date. That is the 11th of November, 2024 on price action. Ten, 13, there we go. Nearest makes no difference. Okay, now, this is an interesting thing. Price has gone up, but the market cap hasn't. Show your market cap chart.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, what was bullish, just putting it out there, is not so bullish again, because what do we want for price to sustain momentum, guys? You want volume to keep on growing. And price needs to then obviously reflect that. So if volume, the market cap keeps on growing and the price of the coin keeps on going up, that's healthy. But as soon as the price of the coin keeps on going up, but the market cap is not going up anymore, you need to ask yourself questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we've done it there. Let's leave Solana on a high note. What do you think?
Yeah, I quite like it. I think, yeah, I think it's a warning probably to most that we are now in an era more focused on tokenomics than previous cycles, and I think that is something to keep an eye on for alts, particularly as we come into this next year, where there'll be a lot of releases, a lot of unlocks. I know that there's a lot of unlocks of certain tokens from. So we had a lot of the foundations when we were in that really nasty period after the tariffs. I know a lot of the foundations were doing OTC sales that were quite discounted. I know that because I was offered and partook in some. Those will be beginning to unlock, and I think, yeah, you just have to be a bit wary about unlocks, I think, in this environment now, because tokenomics are probably more of a thing than they have been previously.
Yeah, the unlocks is a scream to get out at this stage, so just be mindful of that. Let's go into a different angle. Let's go degen real quick. COAI. We've made a hell of a lot of money on COAI, and I think a lot of people have been crying on COAI. And Stanko is asking about it. Is it a rug or okay? And I'm gonna throw my first 20 cents in there, and then you can chime in there. For me, the main thing is the question regarding whether it's a rug or not. If you look at this, I'll go 4-hour time frame here real quick. The question with this, whether it's a rug or not, is first can only be answered if whether that was truly a fair valuation of Oprah. What's it? Oprah AI.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the main thing. Was this fair in price? Is something that goes up 10,000% fair in price? And then once you've answered that, only if you then answer that, then you could say that this is a rug. For me personally, just looking at this, it's the inevitability of where price is going to go. Because after there was a common sense, there was an establishment of what was fair or undervalued. Market then went to try and look what was overvalued, unfair. And now it's trying to find middle ground. And that's why triangles and those kind of patterns play out on these coins, depending on how it's going to look. Because it's just always trying to answer that question, what is fair? That's it. So is it a rug? Is it not? I don't know. But I do know it was expensive. There's cheap. And now it's trying to look for cheap again. What you don't want to see this rug or, shit is when it loses that, which is what was established as cheap. Because once it goes below that, Celestia, good example, then it's going to keep dipping. Okay. Your thoughts? Anything you want to add to that?
I think it's a typical. I think we see more and more of these from a market making perspective. It's what we tend to call a squeeze. Essentially, I think there was very little natural float of this, and so you naturally have a very small portion of it circulating, of which you can see this squeeze up. And I know that a big factor in this was the funding rates. So from an exchange point of view, there was a lot of attraction in this as a project from a funding rate perspective because it was so expensive. And when you get these moves up like this, you get such a big imbalance on the order book because so many people want to short, they'll pay the funding rate to short. And so you don't really ever get opportunities to take downside liquidity because all the liquidity that builds up is above it, which is why we just see this get squeezed up and up and up and up and up and up. And it's that fallacy we spoke about yesterday where it must come down, it must come down, it must come down.
And then it keeps going the opposite until eventually there's nobody thinking that anymore.
Yeah, and you see so many types of these. I think we see more and more of these. I won't say it was a rug or a scam, but it's clever market making. Because the MYX chart looks pretty much similar to this.
Yes.
I know that's another one of our mutual friends' favorites, but you see MYX is exactly the same. Accumulation up there, take out all the shorts, come back down here. There'll be so many people trying to short here, take them out, and then the coin inevitably comes back to that fair price zone.
To do the whole thing over and over again, but less extreme.
Yeah.
Typically, it will do it less extreme because common sense and people are, as time goes, people get weary to a trend. That's the reality. And that's sometimes the hardest thing for people to realize. Everybody knows Bitcoin's in an uptrend. Everybody knows this. So people are wary to the trend. So that's what makes it hard for the thing to keep on going up now. It's as simple as that. 15,000 people were saying you're silly for going long, and what El Capo, that guy said, no, it's going to go to 12 or something like that, publicly, and it will, and then it doesn't, and that's the kind of stuff. So time is your friend and your enemy. So in a way, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's quickly do. I think we've got 2 more minutes left. Let's do Bitcoin. BNB, I think is a big one. What's your take on BNB? Because you missed the BNB as well in a way. So heavy metal BNB guy.
I think it's got more left in the tank. I really do. I struggle to see this being the end of the road for BNB. I think that liquidation wick was quite nice. I think this just on the 4 hour, it just looks really good, doesn't it? Like it's come back down. That is quite a nice level that it's come down. It's supported. I mean, that wick aside, it's just held it really well. I still think this thing has. I think this thing's got $1,500 written in this cycle. I don't think we've seen the end of it. I think this is probably quite an interesting area because inevitably, as we mentioned on the shorts, once this starts coming up here, you're going to get so many people. BNB triple top, so you'll just get shorts layer here. Might tease the triple top, and then bang, take everyone out, and then distribute.
The one thing that I can say for BNB, and look, I feel like sentiment can change. Something goes wrong with the tariffs tomorrow, and the whole spiel for 1,500 goes out of the window, guys. It's just the reality of this. The cost for opportunity is very low at this stage because from where it's at right now, 1,200 to where you would typically invalidate to say, well, don't go make lower lows, BNB. If you're bullish, you won't. That is relatively cheap for the potential upside.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that is really that BNB has got going for it.
Yeah. And it's one of those tokens. I think There are 3 tokens mainly in the market that don't move normally, that don't have typical price action because the supply is heavily held and concentrated, and they all just tend to do their own thing. BNB is one, Tron is the other. Like this thing, if you look at this thing on the weekly.
Yeah, I got lucky. I bought the ultimate low there, and I was talking to the guys this morning about Tron. So, but yes, Tron being the other one. And what's the third one, in your opinion?
XRP.
Yes, you cannot discount XRP.
I hate
Wait
XRP.
For the market to shift a bit, and then XRP will rally. It's just the way it does.
Yeah, because so much of this supply is concentrated. Those are the 3 tokens that this one I'd love to short, but I know every time I try and short this thing, it'll just get my top blown off. BNB, I struggle to have a short, and I think Tron is one of those. It's just that this thing will just continue going up and up and up.
The time will come.
Bits of profit taking, but
I think all of these, the time will come, and the stars will align first. And there's still enough hope for the market to give you maybe a scam, like I want to say scam really, but
another one of these, but to the downside.
But that liquidity, 50% of that wick is sell liquidity, so that's the one thing that I'm worried about. And we're below that support level now at 32. So come on, Tron needs to reclaim, or else that is the potentials of a reversal.
Yeah, because I do like this thing around this 28 zone. But it's not something I actively trade. It's not something I actively trade or I actively hold much. But yeah, those are the 3 that tend to do their own thing.
Right, guys. So let's close off the stream for today. The big thing is this afternoon, 8:30 my time. I think it's 7:30 in the UK now.
Yeah.
And so forth is the big FOMC. Probably going to be a nothing burger because it's been announced so much. Everybody's already taken positions according to this. The one thing that can throw a spanner in the works is if they don't reduce the rates. 99.9%. So it's almost like a guarantee. You don't get better odds like that in the market. So anything around that, say Powell says, well, I'm reducing the rates, but the unemployment isn't as important as inflation. You want to try and read between the lines. Anything around that could switch and shift the market around. But for now, it does look like it's going to come. It's one of those things. And as a closing remark, remember this chart, guys. Just go and Google this. You can download the thing. Keep it in the back of your head. When the Fed pivots, statistically, there is shit on the way. And you said it. They won't do that if there isn't something broken. We just don't know what it is yet. It's simple as that. It's not available on an easily readable website at this stage. You can probably dig and go conspiracy theory on this, but that's now falls out of the scope of what we're trying to do here. Okay, there you have it. Closing remarks for you, my friend. Anything you would want to say? Any coin you would want to point anybody into? Any direction?
Nothing really in particular. I think just tread carefully. I think this is going to be a very choppy day. I think there's good opportunity if you take the scalping side. If you're not already in position for the FOMC, I wouldn't try and take any sizable positions because it will tend to take out both sides before it does any sort of move. I'm not expecting much today. I'm not expecting much today, but I'm keen to hear what Powell has to say because I think that'll be quite a good look under the hood as to where their thinking is. I don't think this will be the catalyst that full sends us yet, but it may be something that lays the groundwork.
For me, what I would say is, I mean, you've said it beautifully. I don't think there's anything I need to add there. At this stage, the coin that I'm currently holding, waiting for TP, is MEAT 48. It's a YZ Labs token. It's called IDOL. It's holding strong. We're up quite nicely. I don't want to see this thing lose any of these lows at 35. Then I might choose to take it out. that would be the one coin I think keep an eye on then, because if you zoom out, it's only the beginning. If you now were to compare this to what potential the COAI did, where it's at, it could still break and go do crazy things. So be optimistic with something like this, but have a clearly defined line drawn in the sand where you wouldn't want to hold that. And that, I think, is the one thing. And ENSO, I mean, we looked at this a while ago, it's also running at this stage. So if you want to be scalp trading, guys, consider trading on this one. The momentum is there. The 4 hours momentum is there. Yes, we don't want to see this lose to 227 thereabout, because that would be bad. Then we're going to go and fill this body of this candle. But other than that, I think there might be some moves to be had there on ENSO. We held this wick area. Let's just mark that out as a resistance zone. So we could easily take this thing from around 2.5 to about 3.5. There's a nice 30%, close to 30% still to be made there on this one. So keep an eye on those two. That's me for now. Thanks so much, guys. I'm going to end the stream off there. I know that there's still a few questions regarding Bitcoin Cash. I see there was Paul and AVAX and so forth. We'll be back on Friday. I'll be back. We'll look at more. And as always, I say you can always go and ask the questions in the Discord, in the discussion section there. And what I will do is in the afternoon, I'll see if I can throw in some RV charts on my Twitter page for you guys, RVs and AVAX and so forth. And make sure to tune in this afternoon. We'll be trading live again. So Mr. Wizard's also going to be there. And hopefully his signal, well, I actually don't want you to be there because then Bitcoin will dump. The short will be You're not invited. So there you have it, guys. Have a lovely day. Thanks for joining, Wizard. I really appreciate that. For the guys, the viewers, everybody, hit the like, hit the subscribe, go follow Wizard. His Twitter handle is scrolling down here somewhere. If not,
at Wizard of Alt, yeah.
There, we'll make sure that we bring it up. Thanks so much, guys. Cheers, Wizard.
Thanks. Bye.